What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back with another video. Today we are watching SmugStick. What if Piccolo wished for orange early? Part 5. You know we love you fuck with SmugStick over here at the on the Domuto channel, at the Domuto channel. So man, shit, I'm ready to get up into it, man. I fuck with this story. Go hard. I ain't gonna lie. So if y'all ready, I'm ready. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe before y'all check the video out, cause y'all don't be subscribing, cause no, but anyway, let's do it.
Goten and Trunks' adventures weren't over yet. Now that they knew where New Namek was, maybe they could use those Dragon Balls. Plus, they needed to find Lord Slug and defeat him before he caused any trouble. However, once they got there, the planet was desolate. No sunlight could get through, and it was freezing. The Grand Elder's house was dark, with some mutated Namekians flying around it. It was clear that this was Lord Slug's doing. In this reality, Slug made it to planet Namek and made his wish, but with so many planets being destroyed and most Namekians already dead, he decided to make this world his home, going crazier and crazier over time. Now he was just an old Namekian with extraordinary power. Goten and Trunks had little trouble against the smaller demons, but Lord Slug was a completely different beast. It seemed as if years of isolation like this drove him mad, until finally it seemed they got the upper hand. But they knew Lord Slug could potentially get stronger, as he hadn't used his orange state yet. In reality, he had never obtained it, because there was no one out there who could truly challenge him, and now he wouldn't get a chance. Even so, Lord Slug's power seemed immeasurable. The kids had to draw on their full potential unleashed power to stand up against him. The two sides began to take slow steps towards each other. A beam of light shot out from his chest, a purple keyblade that swung upwards and cut him in half. It was followed by a blast from behind that decimated Lord Slug. Goten held onto his power pole, something he would do often when he was nervous, and getting ready to strike whoever that was, only to be met by the dark eyes of a familiar figure, his own
Black,
brother.
Gohan Black.
We open with Gohan writing on a notebook, underlining the words, Ultra Instinct. All instinct, no thinking. This notebook has been filled with writings all about it, ever since he started training with Whis. But no matter how hard he tries, he cannot get that technique to work. Goku has noticed it too, almost as if it's incompatible with Gohan, as Whis wonders if perhaps the traditional form of Ultra Instinct isn't right for him. Piccolo and Gohan continue to train at Beerus' planet, while Gohan also goes to school. He has met a girl named Videl, whom he has been going out with, but he rarely gets—
Ultra Instinct don't make sense with Gohan, because he's a person that fights off rage. You know what I'm saying? Goku that fits Goku. He's chill, calm demeanor, which I mean Gohan's kind of like that, but in order him to fight, he need that rage, that like he thinks what he's a thinker. He's a smart guy. You know, Goku is not not as knowledgeable as Gohan is when it comes to the world and books and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
it's time for dates, which has been annoying her. Goku and Vegeta continue to train too, usually at the Time Chamber or at the Kaioshin realm. After the battles against Slug and the message from Bardock, they both realized that perhaps the way for them to catch up to Gohan and Piccolo was through the Saiyan heritage. That is, their tails, making a wish to get them back. It has been quite difficult so far, as it only gave them a slight power advantage. But Vegeta suspects that if they're to evolve, then Goku will need to control the Ozaru transformation, especially since they live on Earth. If Kakarot can't control it, then they're in trouble. So they've been training in both Base and Ozaru. However, their Ozaru appeared different from the one Vegeta knew. They were now a golden color. Surely this was due to their Super Saiyan power. Goku and Vegeta have also been welcomed to train at Beerus' planet after seeing their massive improvement through the use of their tails. Beerus thinks that this more animalistic style is right up his alley for training. So instead of Whis training Goku and Vegeta, Beerus agrees to do it, though he's very loose about it and much lazier. So most of the time, they end up just fighting each other. It's during one of these training sessions when Lord Champa appears and requests a challenge from Beerus. He wants Earth for himself. Beerus
Not
is
the
having
Universe
none
6
of
and
it,
7.
and neither are Piccolo nor Gohan. In fact, they don't even realize that he's there at first, since they're fighting at a level never seen before. Gohan was fighting Orange Piccolo, who was still stronger than him, but he was catching up at an unprecedented rate, especially after discovering Super Saiyan Blue. Champa and Beerus were about to start their own fight, when Champa instead focused on what was going on with the mortals. He had Namekians in his universe. Could they get this strong? Perhaps a tournament would decide the fate of Earth. Beerus chuckled. Sure, why not? And it was decided. Gohan and Piccolo didn't really care for the idea, but they didn't really have a choice either. Thankfully, it was held during winter vacation for Gohan. The teams were obvious. Gohan, Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, and Granola. He had gone off into space after the battles against Slug and tried to get stronger and defend those in need, inspired by Piccolo. At first, he went to them just to try and defeat them, to prove that the Ceruleans could really surpass the Saiyans. But now, Goku had infected him a little. He was training to better himself, and he had a long way to go, but he was a prodigy through and through. With Bulma and Jacko's help, the Super Dragon Balls were located, and the site for the tournament was set, as Universe 6 and Universe 7 step into the ring. Once there, they were surprised to see just who was participating. Universe 6 was composed of Hit, Frost, Kaba, Magetta, and, to Piccolo's surprise, the Namekian, Saonel. Saonel approached Piccolo with a smirk, shaking his hand. Piccolo cocked an eyebrow. There was a power within this Namekian that felt incredible, but Piccolo was sure he could defeat him. Even so, he was more interested in what it meant to have a planet Namek in Universe 6. Saonel was clearly much cockier than Piccolo, but he had no problem telling him about Namek. His version was different from Universe 7's, as it was never stricken by the death and destruction.
They never explained what Namek was in Universe 6.
Peaceful lives. The small houses of Namekians from Universe 7 were instead vibrant cities, with buildings that, while they resembled the Namekian ones from Universe 7, were more akin to West City. Even so, Namek remained a spiritual and peaceful place. Piccolo was invited anytime, and he was sure to pick up on that offer. The tournament was set to begin, with the first match being Goku versus Frost. In any other scenario, Goku would have wanted to battle as normal, but this was the perfect chance to show off why he's been training his tail. Goku insists that Frost transforms, but afterwards never really gives him a chance to get to him. Goku uses his tail to his advantage by wrapping it around Frost's leg and spinning him around before he can punch him, whipping it against him and slamming him down. The tail was basically just another arm for Goku. It was amazing to see. After all, Frost had never fought a Saiyan with a tail before, and didn't know how they moved in comparison to him. Frost even tried to grab Goku by his tail, thinking that it was going to slow him down, but Goku swung him back and nearly out of the arena. The enemy was getting frustrated, so with one last punch, he was sure he'd poison Goku. The punch did strike, but the tail also wrapped itself around Frost's arm and forced him to punch himself, almost as if instinct. Frost was knocked out of the ring, giving Goku the victory. But Goku was knocked out too, thanks to the poison. It seems like a double KO, but Granola's perfect eyesight meant that he jumped from the stance to analyze Frost's arm. He had been cheating. This revelation brought about great dishonor, and Kaba couldn't believe it, but they had to continue. With Goku incapacitated for the time being, Granola was the next one to step up to the ring against Magetta. It was a quick fight. Magetta hit like a truck, so any strikes from him were extremely dangerous. Thankfully, Granola had the speed and the distance. As soon as the heat started rising for Granola, he struck Magetta in every single bolt and joint he could see, dismantling the threat quickly. Magetta fell apart, and the Kai of Universe 6 ended up rebuilding him for the rest of the tournament. Kaba was next. He was nervous, as Granola declared that in his universe, the Saiyans were terrible monsters who killed all of his people, so he was distrusting of what was to come. But Vegeta knew this, and though he understood Granola had to face the Saiyan, he asked if he could in his stead. Granola was a little upset, but upon hearing that he could visit planet Sadala and see just how different the Saiyans were there, Granola accepted. Vegeta stepped into the ring, and the fight went very much like the original tale, with Kaba managing to tap into Super Saiyan, but it was Vegeta's strike that was different. Instead of going Super Saiyan Blue, for a split second Vegeta's eyes flashed a yellow color, and the roar of an Ozaru was heard. Vegeta whispered to Kaba that the innate power Saiyans have has always been that of the Ozaru, and that he believed that even if the Sadalan Saiyans had evolved past the tail, the Ozaru was still somewhere within them. Goku had woken up and was staring intently. This state was something Vegeta and himself had been working on, but it's far from what they wanted. Kaba was defeated, and Vegeta moved on to stare down at Hit, with Goku being jealous of the fight. But the fight against Hit was not what he expected. The assassin was on another level of existence. He did realize what was going on, but it was too late. He only barely managed to save himself once during the time skip by wrapping his tail around Hit's arm, but that only worked once, and was quickly knocked out of bounds. Gohan was next,
a weaker Vegeta
and he
too.
thought he understood what was going on better than most. In a tenth of a second, Hit was able to attack with incredible speed, and Granola had seen it, warning Gohan, who thanked him but told him that he was already aware, and he had a plan. Gohan avowed before getting into his battle stance, and in a flash, Hit appeared before the Saiyan. Gohan was surprised. He was faster than he expected, but the very second he time-skipped, Gohan snapped into Super Saiyan Blue. The light was such that Gohan was obscured, and he managed to grab Hit by the arm and take him to the ground. Hit couldn't believe someone could foresee and move through time skip. Not only that, Gohan was extremely powerful thanks to the training with Orange Piccolo, but Hit wasn't about to give up.
Okay.
The two continued a back and forth, appearing and disappearing beyond everyone's sight. In the end, Gohan blitzed forward, as did Hit, reappearing behind each other, clearly having just punched one another across the jaw. Gohan fell on one knee, and it seemed like Hit won, until he falls too, knocked out. Gohan smirked, his aura full of electricity as his Super Saiyan Blue shone on. But it looks different than before. Goku's eyes widened. This wasn't like Gohan just a few seconds prior. Gohan had evolved his state mid-battle. Piccolo looked over at Goku. Gohan had developed that to try and compete with Piccolo, but it wasn't there just yet. This battle was a testament to that, as although Gohan won, he was in no state to fight now. Piccolo smirked, telling Goku that they need to keep up or be left in the dust. Goku said that they had more under their sleeve, which he was saving. Not to worry, Piccolo was proud of Gohan. That was certainly an impressive fight, as Hit vowed to get strong and develop even further. He can't have a kid challenging him in such a way. The final match was Saunel versus Piccolo. As they walk onto the stage, Saunel reveals that a portion of Namek's population now lives within him, as when Champa came to ask him if he could join the tournament, he also warned him of a Namekian with great power. Weirdly enough, he got the color wrong. Then again, he was pretty sure that cat was colorblind. Piccolo chuckled. Just because he fused with many Namekians didn't mean he would have the experience Piccolo had, wondering if the piece of Namek had created soft warriors. As the match began, Piccolo and Saunel wasted no time. They charged at each other, their fists and feet moving so fast they were almost a blur. The sound of their blows reverberated through the stadium, each hit echoing like thunder. Saunel unleashed a barrage of Ki Blast, forcing Piccolo to dodge and weave with incredible agility. But Piccolo is not just on the defensive. He responds by extending his arms to grab Saunel and slam him into the ground, just for him to break free at the last second. Piccolo needed to turn up the ante. In response, Saunel countered by extending his own arms. For a moment, their elongated fists tangled in a unique display of combat that no one had really ever seen before, each one trying to gain leverage over the other. But this was a stalemate, and Piccolo shifted his tactics. Piccolo fired a barrage of energy blast, which Saunel blocked, but Piccolo used this as a diversion. While the smoke clears, he appeared behind Saunel, delivering a swift kick that sent him hurling towards the ground. Saunel recovered mid-air, only to be met by a group of Piccolos. They all charged their blast at him, but he responded by firing first. To his surprise, they were all after images. He looked around for the real Piccolo, only to realize that, he's right behind me, isn't he? Indeed, that MCU humor was right. He turns to see that Piccolo had transformed to show off just what Namekians are truly capable of. Orange Piccolo was staring him down, and in one single powerful blow, Saunel is sent into the arena's floor. And though he recovers, he can't believe what he's seeing. Saunel was knocked out. For a moment, the arena is silent. The announcer is ready to disqualify Piccolo for killing his opponent, but Piccolo rolls his eyes and assures the crowd that Saunel is fine. Indeed, Saunel, playing along with the dramatics, regenerates a hole left on his left side, much to the amazement of the spectators. But he acknowledges that yes, he was defeated. He couldn't believe a Namekian that strong existed. Piccolo placed a hand on his shoulder, telling him that this was his first mistake, underestimating his own people. Saunel invites Piccolo to Universe 6 to see just what his people have achieved. through times of peace. Granola was impressed. Everyone had grown so much since the last time they all saw each other, but even more impressed by the Omni King's presence. That little guy loved the tournament, and Goku was quick to ask for another, since he didn't get to find much on this one. Zeno swung around his tail and agreed. Super Shenron was a true sight to behold, and out of the goodness of his heart, Beerus gifted Champa with a new planet, and thus a time of peace returned. Until one day. While Little Goten and Little Trunks play and fight at Capsule Corp, the time machine comes crashing in again. The two kids find none other than themselves. Trunks in particular was bothered by this, but Bulma went in quickly to nurse them back to health. Piccolo and Gohan were at Beerus' planet, so she instead called Goku and Vegeta. They were happy to see the boys, but this was no time for celebrations. Goten held on to the power pole tightly, one of the only things he had from his family in the future.
Aww.
Goku always smiled when he saw him hold it. It reminded him of old times, but he couldn't smile this time. After they defeated Majin Buu with Piccolo's help, they found the Dragon Balls and Granola in Planet Cereal. They explained everything to Monaito first, so that Granola wouldn't freak out. The Cerulean was very apprehensive at first, but helped them out to find the Dragon Ball and wish for a new Earth. They continued to help the Galactic Patrol, serving the universal community to return back to what they used to be prior to Majin Buu's attack. But on Earth, things were difficult. A being had appeared, wearing a dark gi that threatened Earth once more. Goten and Trunks had to help everyone evacuate Earth again, but worst of all was that he had the face of Gohan. They couldn't...
Why he didn't do Piccolo Black? I don't know. Piccolo Black. I guess he already did the Lord Slug. He wanted to
explain
do
it.
Gohan.
They didn't know what this was, but they were terrified. Goku couldn't believe it, and assured them that whoever this was couldn't actually be Gohan, but he could see the doubt in Goten's eyes. It was better not to involve Gohan for now if they were that scared of everything. Hopefully, they could take care of things together. And so, the team went together to the future. Once there, they met up with future Bulma. She was extremely happy to see Vegeta and hugged him tightly, but there was no time for this reunion, even though she did sneak in a little kiss. Trunks laughed at the situation, telling him that he was gonna tell on him with his past mom. But through the small glimmer of light, a blast came crashing down. It was indeed Gohan Black. Vegeta and Goku told her to get her away from here. They were going to have to fight, but instantly they knew that they were outclassed. Because although together they could hold their own, Gohan Black was hiding more power, and above that, he had an accomplice with him, someone that declared himself to be Zamasu. Even their new Ozaru-like state meant nothing to them, and Super Saiyan 2 was failing them. It seemed like no matter what they did, Zamasu was okay every single time.
Well,
was he regenerating, or was it worse? Goku's back hits the wall as he's stabbed through the chest. He looks at his own son's face as he laughs at him. Goku can't help but caress Gohan's face for a second, but Vegeta needed to do something. Goku could die if they don't act. Thinking quickly, Vegeta launched an artificial moon up to the sky, something he hasn't done in many years. They're all surprised by it, as Goku looks up, his heart skipping a beat, transforming into an Ozaru. Vegeta likewise transforms too.
Okay.
Zamasu and Gohan Black are pushed away. The sheer size and unpredictable power of the Ozaru kept them at bay for now. But they realized that Goku in particular was going berserk. He was attacking everything in his path, no matter if they were enemies or good guys. Vegeta was much more in control, so much so that his golden Ozaru is able to push Zamasu back for a second, allowing time for what little civilians remained to escape. Goten and Trunks try to calm down Goku as he foolishly tries to destroy Earth. Vegeta isn't sure what to do, watching this brand new Earth struggle to keep itself together, watching his son battle, watching as Kakarot loses control, and watching as Gohan Black soils the good name of the Saiyans. Something sparks within him like never before. Vegeta begins to shrink in size, an explosion of power that distracts Black and gives Trunks a chance to escape. As the smoke cleared, Vegeta looked up with a smirk. This was the power him and Kakarot had been...
I'm not mad at him in his Saiyan armor. You could have made him regular. Why you use the regular Super Saiyan 4 fit? I don't. Okay, whatever though. But still,
now
I'm not mad at it
time
though.
to show it off. Vegeta reappeared before Black, pummeling him to the ground as Goku begins to fire more and more mouth blasts. Black was surprised by this new form. It was unlike anything any other Saiyan has shown off. Even so, at this rate, Kakarot would just destroy the planet. But Vegeta continued to use Goku to his advantage, forcing Gohan Black into the line of fire. Black was actually being pushed off, but they couldn't keep up at this rate. Even with Vegeta Vegeta's massive power-up, Zamasu was still immortal. They had to figure something else out. Vegeta yelled at Goten and Trunks to keep trying and help Kakarot, who actually seemed to respond to something, Vegeta's power. His jump into Super Saiyan 4 caught the attention of Goku and excited him. He just needed to gain control now. Goten and Trunks dodged and weaved away from the attacks, but he starts to slow down once night comes. The full moon at display. Both Vegeta and Goku felt stronger, but Goku paused to look at the moon. Goten and Trunks flew up to talk to him, and he seemed to react more. He continued to show Goku the power pole, trying to get him to remember the adventures that brought him to this moment. Until Gohan Black flew up right in front of the full moon and began charging a Kamehameha. Vegeta was caught in battle against Zamasu, and he tried to get away to protect them all, but Ozaru Goku instead moved the kids out of the way, allowing the attack to hit him head on. Goten screams his father's name, but Black's laughs are muted by the appearance of Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Yes, sir.
Unarmed, the moonlight shining on him. Goten, Trunks, Vegeta, the power pole, and the moon helped him gain control. But it was really the sight of Black using his firstborn's body to attack his younger son that did it. He could not let that stand. Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta stand side by side, charging a powerful combined blast that blows away Black and everything around him. The monster was hurt, but it only served to fuel his anger more and more. As he ripped part of his top off, Vegeta told Trunks to escape back to the present and bring Gohan and Piccolo. Trunks is confused. Isn't their power enough? Vegeta can't count on it. It seems as if Black has more tricks up his sleeve. However, Zamasu is the real problem, an immortal being. They need to find a way to stop him. Without much of a choice, Goten, Trunks, and future Bulma jump into the time machine. Zamasu tries to stop them, but Goku appears before them and explodes his aura, forcing the Kai away. Goku simply shot them a thumbs up as the battle continued. Bright light emitted from Goku Black worried them. They found themselves back at Capsule Corp as future Bulma helped them get to the door. Bulma is surprised to see herself, but one that's more rugged and edgy. Either way, they needed to help them. Bulma was in wonder at the intact Capsule Corp and happy to see her parents again. Though they thought maybe she was just a clone of Bulma. She's always messing with those machines anyways. Bulma lets her future self rest. After some time, Bulma returns with Piccolo and Gohan, having made some food to contact Beerus. Gohan was very busy, but after hearing that the kids were back from the future, he had to see them. When they arrive to their Capsule Corp room, Gohan is horrified to see as Goten cowers away from him, afraid. Even if he knows that he isn't his enemy, he bears the same face, and it's hard for him to look at him. But things settled down a little when future Bulma hugged Piccolo and Gohan. She hadn't seen them in a long time. Piccolo also steps up to the kids and places a hand on their shoulder. He explains to them that their fear is understandable. After all, they were afraid of him when they sensed Piccolo for the first time, but that Gohan would never hurt them. They will take care of things. Goten was more approachable after that, but Gohan wondered what happened to Goku and Vegeta. They were surprised to hear that they had decided to stay in the future and fight Black on their own, no doubt fueled by their desire to fight and to test this new form. But Goten was worried. Even with this new power, Vegeta seemed unsure of their victory. Piccolo then said that Vegeta had never been one to misread an opponent, to which they all stared at him because that was an insane statement. But they moved on. They needed to return.
That's funny because Vegeta, that don't make sense for Vegeta at all. Cause Vegeta, headstrong ass Vegeta will hop in when he eat it. That was a weird one.
Return to the future, but how are they going to defeat an immortal? Piccolo had an idea. Though if something happened to him and he wasn't able to perform it, then it was probably better to also teach the Mafuba to Goten and Trunks, especially since they seem to have issues with evil versions of their friends attacking. Gohan, in the meantime, approached Beerus regarding Zamasu. He didn't believe that there was an evil Kai, especially since he wasn't there to sense him in this reality. But Gohan was a trustworthy person, and Piccolo vouched for this. Thus, he went on to investigate and ultimately trigger an attack from Zamasu. Gohan was right, and Beerus Hakai'd the Supreme Kai in training. Gowazu was ashamed by this and offered his help to Gohan as they prepared to return to the future. Shin as well will come along later on. And so the team went back to the future. Once there, arriving only an hour after they departed, the city was already a wasteland. Goku and Vegeta were no longer in Super Saiyan 4, and in their place was a swarm of Gohan Black in Super Saiyan Rose, with Zamasu in the middle taunting them to come out of their hiding spot. Trunks and Goten were terrified. Black was even stronger than before. It was obvious that Goku and Vegeta had run out of energy, but they had done quite a number on Black. Finally, they were seen, with a Kamehameha fired to hit Vegeta, but before it reached him, Gohan stepped in front and slapped it away. The fire in his eyes was unlike anything Zamasu had seen before. Gohan Black laughed, welcoming him. He explained how he didn't get to know him well prior to taking his body, but he admired the tenacity. Even so, it's too late. Without that Super Saiyan 4 power, what else do they have? Gohan smirked as Goten tossed Goku and Vegeta as Sensubin. Standing by Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and Goten, Gohan replied, "We have hope, and that's more than enough to deal with you." In a flash of light, Gohan entered Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. Piccolo, his orange form, Goku and Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4, and finally, Trunks and Goten with their ultimate states. Gohan smirked at the sight of his father, so they really had done it, a form that used his Saiyan heritage as a basis. Just as Piccolo's used his Namekian heritage. Gohan was proud of his father. If this kept up, then Gohan will have to start taking training a little more seriously in order to not be left behind. Gohan Black watched Gohan's Blue Evolution state, the same state he used to defeat Hit. He realized then that he could push himself even further beyond, if he really wished to. Releasing a feral scream, a bright purple sight invaded the wasteland. He had indeed done it. It was an easy job for a god like himself. He had evolved to Rose. This wasn't just a fight, it was a war, a clash of wills and strength against a seemingly insurmountable foe. The clones launched a first volley. Goku and Vegeta responded with a flurry of their own blast, their hands moving in blurs.
Why he got Gohan looking zesty?
Delivering a series of high-speed punches and kicks, going from one Black to another.
Why you looking so zesty? What's up with the hand on hip like that, bro? Why you got my nigga? That's a fire pig. Hold on. But anyway.
Snapping them out of existence. Piccolo extended his arms, stretching them across the battlefield to snatch the clones from the air and slamming them back to the ground with earth-shattering force, even turning giant and taking out swarms of them at once. Trunks' sword sliced through the air, cleaving through the clones with arcs of bright energy, while Goten's power pole punctuated each of Trunks' strikes, creating explosions that sent shockwaves through the ranks of Gohan Black. Enraged at the destruction of the clones, Gohan Black rushes towards the future warrior, only to get his whole body punched by giant Piccolo, beginning a clash. It's clear he was powerful, but he couldn't stand up against Orange Piccolo. Piccolo got ready to fire a decisive shot, but he stopped himself. The fear Black had behind those eyes, that very second, reminded him of the boy he trained all those years ago. That was the chance Black needed. Truly, Gohan was Piccolo's biggest weakness, firing spikes into his body as several clones burst towards him and fired their own. Gohan Black continued to torture Piccolo until a kick came flying into him to knock him away. It was Gohan, as he told his master not to worry. He won't let him get hurt any longer. Piccolo thanked Gohan, though that attack did quite a number on him. He looked up to Zamasu, who was looking down at them all. He was the real problem here. Zamasu stayed behind them in battle. Zamasu thought it was perhaps time to use their trump card. Piccolo was thinking the same thing. Black is just a distraction from getting rid of Zamasu. He yelled at them to ready up. Goku and Vegeta cleared their path with a Kamehameha times 10 and a final shine attack, leaving it clear as Piccolo screamed out the Mafuba incantation. But at the same time, Zamasu took off his Potara. Zamasu's body was being pulled one way by the Potara and another by Piccolo's Mafuba. The Immortal was in pain as Piccolo struggled to pull him back. The Potara's pull was too strong. Black, recognizing the attack would surely trap them both if the Potara pulled him towards them, tried to keep himself back, but Black was sent towards the Mafuba. Goten and Trunks cheered. It seemed like they had won, but right before reaching Zamasu, Black fired blast indiscriminately until one finally destroyed the Mafuba jar. The seal flapped in the wind, but a bright light remained as the merged Zamasu was born. It all seemed hopeless, as Goten grabbed onto the seal, looking at it with sadness. Then back up to Zamasu. It truly was over. They got ready to continue, but a lightning blast struck down the middle of the group, sending them scattering across the field. That was when Shin and Gowazu appeared, just as they had promised. They couldn't believe that power, and Gowazu was surprised to see them being forced to use the Potara. That's when Goku perked up. The Potara? Those things Zamasu used? What if they used it instead? Gohan and Piccolo were fighting against Zamasu, who caught their fist with his hands, though his left arm began to break apart and melt down. Gohan was grossed out, and Zamasu was able to force them back, grabbing them by the neck and slamming them into the ground, choking them. He declared victory once and for all, but as Piccolo blinked out of orange, something cut clean through both of Zamasu's arms. The gods screamed in pain, stepping back, a figure landing before them.
Boy.
Zamasu sped at the ground as he regenerated his arms. A fusion between mortals. Disgusting. But Vegito simply looked at him with a smirk. Gohan and Piccolo shared glances. So this is the kind of power Goku and Vegeta could reach. With a battle cry that split the heavens, Vegito launched himself at Zamasu. His speed was a blur to the mortal eye. He was a true force of nature, weaving through Zamasu's onslaught, each step bringing him closer to Zamasu. Their fists collided in power, creating shockwaves. Each strike is calculated to exploit Zamasu's weakness. It was clear to Gohan, even if he had surpassed his father in power, he was a battle genius, rivaled only by Vegeta and Piccolo. He still had a lot to learn. Zamasu had a realization that he was being outmatched by a mortal fusion, and that was a bitter pill to swallow. His frustration was growing further and further. Goten and Trunks were excited, thinking that Vegito could kill Zamasu, but Gohan interrupted them. No, he was still immortal. Those attacks mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Goten looked down at the seal in his hands, holding on to his power pole. This was the last thing he had from his family in the future, but perhaps it could save them. It just has to be a container, right? And attach the seal to it? Piccolo cocked an eyebrow at the boy. Goten took the power pole holder from his back and did his best to stick the seal to it, throwing it at Piccolo. Gohan looked at Goten in amazement. Was he sure? Would this even work? Piccolo explained that this was technically a container. As long as Goten was able to place the power pole back in it, they would seal Zamasu within, though perhaps they could reinforce the top. Vegito continued the onslaught, as Piccolo yelled at him to stop playing around. In reality, telepathically, Piccolo told Vegito the plan. The fusion was having too much fun, but he was starting to slow down. Gohan burst forward to help him. They would have to drag Zamasu towards Piccolo. The fusion did as told. Alongside Gohan, the two of them comboed him towards the ground, but Zamasu could see something was up, and expanded his aura to be freed. Gohan responded with a point-blank Kamehameha that snapped Zamasu into the ground, and Vegito fired a spirit sword to keep him pinned. That's when Piccolo jumped in with the Mafuba, swirling Zamasu around again, but the fusion screamed out that he wouldn't be fooled twice. He fired blasts over and over again, but he realized he had no idea where the jar was located this time. He looked around all over the place to finally find Goten and Trunks holding onto the container, with Goten keeping the power pole ready to seal him away. It was clear that Piccolo was struggling though, and Goten yelled at Trunks to help him out. Trunks wanted to stay with his friend, but he knew Piccolo needed help. Trunks jumped back, firing his own Mafuba, but Goten was struggling more now. That's when he felt someone else hold on to the power pole. It was Gohan. The brothers were holding it together. Meanwhile, Vegito forced the Kamehameha to push Zamasu into it, and he landed the Mafuba. The force of it was so strong that Gohan and Goten needed all their strength to keep it together. But finally, the Mafuba swirl dimmed, and Zamasu was consumed into the power pole holder as Goten took the magic staff and stuffed it back in, sealing Zamasu along with it. It was done. The Z fighters gather around the power pole. It was still shaking, and it seemed like there was some energy sipping out. Trunks took off his bandana and wrapped it around tightly to seal it shut. They won't be able to use this power pole any longer, and there was a tinge of sadness in the air from Goten, but it was worth it. For the sake of New Earth, they could rest for now, as galactic patrol ships descended, bringing back the very residents of New Earth. It would be a tough job, but with heroes like Goten and Trunks, then surely Earth is in good hands. The team returned to the present, where they met Lord Beerus. He was very upset about all of this, and tells the kids that they're not allowed to travel nilly-willy anymore. As he kept yelling at them, Goku took the power pole and gifted it to Beerus as an apology. Beerus looked at it in confusion. This was full of godly power. He was wondering what it was, but that wouldn't be enough. They were in serious trouble. Lord Beerus, Goten and Trunks also agreed to stay a bit longer so they can join the Tournament of Power. They'll go right back home afterwards.
Is that so? Fine, but only because I'm afraid you'd choose that Yamcha boy instead. I expect you to come train soon. Goodbye.
Beerus disappeared with Whis, leaving everyone confused as to what was wrong with Yamcha. At Beerus' planet, the god of destruction inspected the gift.
What could be inside? You damn dirty Lord Beerus! Ah, that Goku. A sealing technique. Clever. So, I hear you killed future me, and that you're immortal.
Aye, yes I am, and I'll bring forth the Zero Mortals plan.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
This is going to be fun. No, don't try to run. I can seal you right back in if I need to.
And so, Beerus got a workout partner, whom he would just seal over and over again. But he knew his fun wouldn't last, as the Tournament of Power was right around the corner. Thanks for watching, everyone. I had a lot of fun writing the
Shout out to SmugStick. It was a good chapter. This was a good ass chapter right here, man. Oh man, dude, this was fire. Gohan with the new power. Vegeta and Goku, of course, Super Saiyan 4. I was expecting to see Beast from Goten and Trunks. I'm pretty sure he's gonna give him Beast. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get one of them Beasts or something like that. You know, everybody gets power ups in the what if stories, right? But anyway, shout out to SmugStick. Shout out to check the last chapter out right here. Check out another story right here. And make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.